Welcome to my video where I introduce some new features that are in Ace Racers SP. So the first feature, so that you can enjoy looking at your drone up close, is that you can now zoom the camera, but only in space mode or object placer mode. And the other big key feature that you can see here is that in addition to rings, I now have some other placeable objects that you can use for obstacles. So then you can place the objects and then you can build your ring course around it. So, as you can see, I can then switch back to the rockhopper mode and I can go fly around and land on my obstacles, and here they are. And when I save the level, these will all save where you left them. This does create a little bit of some problems because presently there's no way for the save system to distinguish between which level is which. And what that means is that you either have to remember, or in the name of your save you need to put the level that it should go into. So that's a little funny, but that's because this collider of this heart is not exactly a heart. So there's not that much I can do about that. But on the other ones, it'll work normally. Alright, so then in some of these other levels, it'll be a little easier to see which sort of objects I have in the game. So I'll just cycle through. There's 2 landing pads. There's this big heart. There's this big cylinder. There's this big ball. There's this big shape that you can kind of fly through. There's like a tunnel in it. And then there's also a set of shipping containers so that you can place the shipping containers. And that's pretty much the summary of what's in this mode. But because the drone is a different size, then actually you end up with some different, a few different obstacles. The shipping containers are actually a different size in this one because they're a different size. The ship is a different size, and as a result of that, let me get into the light. Find somewhere that there's plenty of light. Here we go. I made some smaller objects. It still has a lot of the same objects, but as you can see, the shipping containers are slightly smaller as well, so they're a little bit more in line with the size of the vehicle. So now what you can do is you can place these objects in your world and build the rings around them, which will allow you to have a little bit more variety in your courses. You don't have to be so dependent on the world scene. And again, the other feature that you can have is a zoom, which will hopefully let you see a little bit more carefully where you are placing your rings. And then you can switch back to the proper thrust mode. And for now, this one is going to remain first person view only. Although I do want to put some other cameras just for fun. The game is kind of designed to simulate first person view drone, which you would have available to you if you were flying the drone. And so in this case, actually in real life, if you had a drone, while you were close to it, you would still be able to see kind of from a third person view. So you do kind of get that a little bit here with the three little cameras there. I'm really struggling here to keep control of my vehicle because all three vehicles, there's three different ways that these vehicles control. Once you're in space mode, you need to push the stick a lot longer, and so then sometimes you get disoriented in this mode because you're pushing the stick for a lot less time to do each thing. And then in Rockhopper mode, a lot of the controls are configured differently because really the vehicle moves differently. So I guess that's a short preview of what's in the game at this point, in addition to previously where I showed all of the rings. Alright, so here's all of your options for rings in this level. And again, the difference between the Rockhopper and the drone is in there. There is some difference, but overall you have a reasonable variety of colors, and then of course some variety of shapes and sizes as well to help you build some nice obstacle courses. So at present, there's no way to set up for a race. There's no way to keep track of your time trials. And there's no way to like have a level that begins or have multiplayer racing, but the focus of the game at present is to kind of create the same situation you would have if you had a drone at the park. So you could kind of keep track of your own better laps in your own mind, but it's harder to do anything other than just kind of set up yourself a little park and then enjoy flying around it. And so for now, that's the goal of the game, and that's where I can say for sure it will be focused. I don't know how to program very well, so I would like to do things like allow for the player to set up for actual race courses, and all the kind of stuff that would go along with the kind of racing game. But all of that stuff is really hard for me. It took me weeks of work to figure out how to even do all of this. And we'll just see what happens. I can't guarantee that the project will get that far. So for now, the focus is if you can imagine, you have your drone and you have a park you can go to, and maybe you have a couple of rings or obstacles that you like to set up, then you can go and kind of enjoy flying around them. Alright, thank you very much.